Welcome to Slasher Sunday. This week, we started.
That's right. We sure did. This is Friday the 13th, Revisited. All right. So, I never expected to do that. But I said, why not? Let's do it again, shall we?
Why not?
So Friday the 13th. Here we go. Let's go.
Yay.
So the 1980 original classic. Yeah. All right. So
y'all know it.
So yeah, I did review this entire franchise already in full spoiler discussion, but a lot of people have been asking for Kaylee's opinion for some reason. I don't know why. But if you want it, she gonna give it to you. So we're gonna run through this and let's start it, shall we?
Let's start it.
All right. I guess we should start back in 1958, where this movie starts.
Yep.
But Jason drowned the previous year. So he drowned in 1957. And then Pamela comes back. Now, I don't think it's outright explicitly ever said, unless I'm completely forgetting it somewhere in the franchise. But these opening kids, Barry and Claudette, who get killed, I'm assuming this is the couple that had sex or was fooling around while Jason drowned.
I mean, I think a lot of camp counselors return, right, for multiple years.
Sure.
So.
But she kills these kids in this movie in 1980.
Right.
Right? And we're going to talk about that date because something's weird there. But she kills them.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything to do with their kid's death.
No, but she's crazy.
She is crazy. So what I'm saying by that, though, is that she doesn't need to make it... It doesn't have to be them. But that being said, the fact that she only kills those two...
Yeah.
Because when they tell the history, it's like a boy drowned in 57.
Yeah.
2 kids got killed in 58, right? So she killed them specifically.
Yeah.
That seems like confirmation to me that it's them. But it could just be that she found kids fooling around.
And it triggered
her.
Yeah. I like thinking that it's the 2 kids that were messing around. But I also kind of feel, now that I said a lot of camp counselors would return, I feel like if you were at a camp and you were supposed to be watching a kid and he drowned,
you wouldn't be
invited
back.
I don't think you'd go back. Yeah, I don't think you'd be allowed back, really. So I think what you said is probably right, where they're just random kids that she sees fooling around and it snaps in her, something snaps. And so she decides to start killing then. It's
so unfair, too, because, Barry and Claudette are just 2 horny kids who are screwing around while they're, away from the kids. It's not like they're supposed to be watching kids.
No.
Right? This is their off time.
Right.
And they decided to have sex. I mean, they didn't do anything wrong.
Well, sure. But, I mean, she doesn't have a good reason for killing anybody in this.
Of course.
I mean, when we meet Annie.
No, everyone in this movie, this is an interesting one because there's not a single person in this movie who deserves it outside of Pamela in the end.
Right.
Right? Yeah. All of these kids in this are totally fine, nice.
Yeah.
No one's a bully.
No,
you don't have any of those kinds of characters like a lot of these camp slashers do, with Sleepaway Camp and, they have bullies. And you're like, oh, I want them to die. There's nobody in this film that
they're
I
all
want
just
to die.
normal kids. Even the the clown, what's his name, Ned, he's not even really mean or anything.
No.
He's just a goof.
Yeah.
They're all just nice, normal kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's just crazy. She's crazy.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
I also didn't have this box set the last time that that I recorded. I did do a spoiler discussion for the special features on every one of these. up until I think Jason X or something because
Yeah.
I just got burnt out.
Yeah, you were working on those when we met.
Oh
and
my
you
god,
were
I
just
got
like, I'm
so
done.
burnt out. I got rid of my Patreon because of it.
Yeah.
We have it back now for anyone who's interested.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm super undecided. I would say you let a kid drown while you're fooling around, you're fired. You're not allowed back. And even if you are they coming back?
No. Either way, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
No
So
way.
I'm gonna
I
say
think it's random kids.
Barry and Claudette are not the kids.
No.
Because it's a year later.
I agree.
If it was the same year and it was like the next night or something, they hadn't been kicked out yet.
Sure.
Right,
then,
something. But the next year, there's no way they're still there.
No.
But who knows? I mean, we hear stories all the time where they're like, and they let them back, and you're like, what? They put them back in charge? How?
I think we should go with our interpretation of this, that they are...
What do you guys think? That's what I want to know. Are Barry and Claudette the same kids fooling around that let Jason drown?
We say no.
If they are, they're what got everyone in this franchise killed.
Yeah, because if they are, and it's like she just starts killing because she sees them back, and she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're alive."
I mean, that would make sense, right? Like, how did you let them come back here? I'm not going to let them do it again.
Now I'm torn. I feel like both interpretations work really well.
Sure. I mean, the thought that like they're gonna be like that, they're just up there having a good time, carefree, screwing around. And it's like, I'm not gonna let these kids do this crap again.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, in this moment they're not supposed to be watching any kids, but it would still be like, no, you do not get to come back to this camp after what you did.
No way.
But we don't ever. I don't know. Unless I'm totally forgetting some scene. I've seen these movies a lot. I don't remember anyone ever confirming
that it was
that Barry and Claudette are the kids. Because that's not really talked about all that much.
It'd be interesting if it was in any books or like comics or anything.
Maybe the adaptations, the book adaptations.
Yeah.
It's possible. Okay, so now we jump up to 1980. So the only reason I say this, okay, so there's two different ways you can go about this. Number one, this is June 13th. And if you look, which I did, at the calendar, and you go back to 1980, there was, in fact, a Friday the 13th on June 13th in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, and the film came out in 1980, so all signs point to 1980, right? Mm-hmm. My only gripe, and that's not with this film, right? It's with part 4, the shirt she's wearing, is that Betsy Palmer, no, that Pamela Voorhees' gravestone says she died in 1979.
Yeah.
Why it says that?
She's a ghost in this movie.
I don't know. That's obviously got to be a mess up. It's like,
I don't know.
It's like Michael Myers, age 23, in the credits of Halloween 1 and 2, when they explicitly say he's 21 in the film.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's so random. I'm gonna say this is probably a mess up with her tombstone. Maybe there's something significant about 79.
What's wild is that in Halloween 2, he's still listed as 23. They did it twice. That makes even less sense.
Keep it like the continuity.
Because the first one's like low budget and they're rushing it probably, and the guy who's doing the credits is like, actually, how old is he?
It makes even more sense for 2 because
they probably looked at it and were like, well, it says it in the credits, can't be wrong. Right. You just think that someone would be like, eh. But who knows? They added an extra gunshot in 2 to make it 7. So who the hell knows, man? Anyways, okay, sticking to Friday.
We'll talk about Friday. No Halloween talk on this channel.
I will say, not on this channel, never again. Kaylee said something when we were watching this, and I was like, yeah, why not? So I've seen a lot of cosplay for Friday the 13th, and Kaylee has a camp counselor outfit.
Yeah.
What that's based on, I don't really know. But they wear these specific counselor outfits in this, and they have like these yellow shirts and whatever.
They're like yellow, like neon green.
I've never seen these cosplayed.
Yeah. It would be really cool.
Where's the OG camp
Uh-huh.
counselor outfits?
Because they say like Camp Crystal Lake
Yeah.
on them and everything,
Yeah.
and they have like khaki shorts.
Yeah.
They look like definite, like real camp counts. I've never been to summer camp, so I don't actually know what they look like.
I never went as a kid, but I did go as an adult because a girl that I knew was counseling there.
What?
And I went to visit.
You don't know any girls?
No, I don't. She was a boy. And I went to visit.
Did the uniforms look like the ones in the beginning?
Didn't have uniforms, to my memory.
Oh, okay. It's probably like an outdated thing.
Yeah.
Having the uniforms. Although I don't know, people have like T-shirts and stuff for like different clubs and activities, so I could see that. But yeah, these
it would
are
probably
just,
depend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've never seen these cosplayed, so
I'm sure people have done
I'm sure somebody's done it.
Sure, but I just not something I've seen much.
Yeah.
Okay, then you get the opening title card comes in and breaks the screen.
Shatters.
It's breaking the glass.
Yeah.
But this would have been seen in a theater.
There's no glass.
This is like before home release much. So it's not like breaking your TV set.
It's breaking the camera, I think. Like the camera lens.
The camera?
Yeah.
The camera, that's not how that works.
It
would be the theater screen is not made of glass.
It
shouldn't have been like tearing through like fabric.
Yes, but because it's breaking glass, I'm saying it's breaking the camera lens.
I knew it was gonna find more life at home release in the future. It was like it's only gonna be in the theater for a short amount of time.
But don't worry, people are gonna be watching this at home.
They're gonna be watching it on a screen one day.
A glass screen.
A glass one that breaks. Now, I'm not. I went back and I watched a little bit of the review. I already did. So I'm just going to say this here. If I reiterate or say anything, of course I'm going to reiterate. And of course I'm going to say a lot of the same things. This is going to be different, though. I mean, there's a good amount of things I did not talk about. So I'm glad to go back. So I'm not going to say that again. Yeah, so the score in this, Harry Manfredini's score. Yeah, so it is obviously heavily inspired by the Psycho soundtrack.
Yes.
I mean,
very heavily.
I
thought that we were talking about it and I thought that I had heard that like Sean Cunningham was like inspired by Psycho for this because it's like a reversal of the roles in a way where you have instead of the son, acting out his mother, you have the mother acting out the son.
Yeah.
So
and Halloween obviously is an homage to Psycho,
right?
With Jamie Lee Curtis and Sam Loomis, right. So
I mean, I like the score in this.
Oh, it's great.
I think it's really effective and
it's used very sparingly and it's used very well because it literally only plays when people are in danger.
Right.
The film is literally silent otherwise.
Which it's creepy because it's like when you're out in the woods, like at a camp like this, it would be really quiet.
Sure, and that's a good point. Like when you're in the woods, you usually hear nothing, and when you hear something, it's a threat.
Sure, especially something loud. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's smart to pepper in the music for like the important scares and moments when the audience should be tense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's when the scary music should be playing.
Yeah.
And we have once again, like we were just talking about, the gas pumps. Gas contains lead.
Oh yeah,
blows my mind to look
it's
back
crazy.
On that. It just blast from the past, a lead blast from the past. I will say, I do recommend that if you've watched these movies, these kinds of classic movies a bunch, and you haven't ever watched them with subtitles on, I definitely would recommend it because there is added dialogue that you're missing.
Yeah. Stuff
on the radio that's playing when like Annie's walking into town.
Yes.
None of it's super important. It's not like you're missing something that's like, oh my god, it made me rethink everything about the franchise.
No, but it's cool to hear and to like
but it's just,
see.
It's new content in something you've seen a million times.
Like Barry says something that we didn't even understand without turning the subtitles on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's talking about like how it's not a.
He's like it's not made of stone, which I don't understand.
He's talking about his dick. I think she's like trying to pull it out, and it's like hurting him, and he's like, hey man, like it's not made of stone. You can't just be like
okay.
moving it around like that.
So weird. I really like the town that they filmed this into, like when Annie's walking up into town and after she sees the little doggo.
Yeah.
It's just got like a really nice, like
Quaint.
it's very quaint and very small town and very like unassuming, which is great.
Yeah. The town's nice. Definitely would love to find the filming location for this and go. That little like bridge she crosses in the opening.
The cemetery.
And well, the cemetery is a little further. That's when she's getting dropped off, right? That's in Hope, New Jersey. No, just Hope.
Oh, it's Mount Hope Cemetery. Is it Mount Hope Cemetery?
I thought it was just
Hope Cemetery.
I thought it was Hope. No, it's Hope, New Jersey. Yeah. The cemetery is called like I forget, but there's Sand Pond is like the closest water source to that because I looked at it on a map while we were watching this to try to see like what lake is even close to see if they're in that area. And this was not filmed there. This was filmed at another little lake that was. It's not too far. I looked at the map and found where this was filmed, and was like, oh, okay, they're pretty close. Now. They say somewhere in here.
This is backwards the whole time. It was like that.
No, it just fell down. Oh. It just fell down. So, I want to say I wrote it down somewhere because I will say this. All the girls in this are really cute.
Yeah,
like
they are.
They definitely got a good cast of attractive females in here.
They do.
And
Annie's the cutest.
So cute.
Annie's adorable.
I was like, damn, why'd you kill her off so quick?
I know. I would love to see so much more of her. Like, I just think she's really adorable. And when she's like her interaction with whatever, the guy from the diner that drives her, the trucker guy.
Right.
Like, it's just so authentic and adorable. And he's like, treating her like a kid because she is, but she's kind of giving him sass, like, the teenager she is. I don't know.
Her personality is wonderful.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
There's a line in here somewhere. I think it's I wrote it down somewhere. I'm not finding it. But I want to say they say like there's 8 miles to like the road or something.
It's like 20.
The crossroad is. I can't find the note.
I thought it was 10 miles. He drives her like 10 miles, and then it's 20 miles till total 20 miles.
I don't really know what Annie's plan was.
Yeah, she was just gonna walk.
She came into town just on foot. So she must have taken a bus or something.
Well, she asks if there's somewhere she can get a bus, right? So,
but she must have got dropped off. But like, well, I don't even know how Annie got to where she got to originally.
It seems like she's walking, yeah, but she's got to have taken a bus or had been hitchhiking or something.
The distance in which she is, like that dirt road, that she's supposed to walk, they say a pretty damn long distance. She's not making that on foot.
I'm pretty sure they say it's 20 miles to Camp Crystal Lake, and then the diner waitress lady is like, you can take her, like, aren't you going out this way? That's 10 miles out of the way. So she has 10 left. So
I thought it was, I swear I wrote it down, but I'm not finding it anywhere.
Here
it is. It says Crossroad is 10 miles.
Yeah.
There's no way Annie's walking 10 miles.
I mean,
before the sun goes down.
No. She was relying on getting another like ride from somebody, hitchhiking, which is
but that's a dirt road
dangerous
that like no one takes.
I know. I hear in my eyes.
It's a shame that when she's walking down that road, that our other people who get there, are the ones who pass her.
I know. That would have been much better for her.
Yeah,
to say the least.
Yeah,
but yeah, she's just walking. She's walking.
When we see our first people, we see, it's Jack, Marcy, and Ned is in like the truck.
Yes, Ned's.
Or is it Bill?
It might be.
I can't remember right now.
I'm trying to remember.
As many times I've seen this fucking movie and I can't remember, but like, how does everyone else get there?
I don't know. I
Because
think
they only try to go use that truck that they're driving in the beginning.
Does what's his name drive them in?
Steve Christie?
Yeah.
No, because when Steve Christie and Alice are the only ones there first.
Oh yeah. No, there's two others there too.
Oh, they're already there.
Yeah, they're there because they're like doing something else,
Okay.
and so they're already there. So
Okay.
I bet those three came together,
Right.
and then the other three came together, and then Annie was just like, "I'm walking,"
Yeah.
which is
It is odd to me that when Steve Christie's is at the diner, Sandy's diner,
yeah.
he's like, I got 6 counselors back at camp,
Mm-hmm.
but there's supposed to be 7. I know that Annie hasn't arrived by the time he leaves, but she could have arrived any minute after he left.
He probably
weird
is
to
just
me that
saying
he's
there's
like-
6 because that's all that he saw when he left.
Yeah, but he knows he's supposed to have 7.
Yeah,
So I feel like he should. That's why
he probably should.
That's why I've always said, like, are we? Because remember when this came out, no one knew who Jason was. Nobody knew who freaking Pamela Voorhees was, and nobody knew that crap, right? So like, you never know who the killer is in this, right? Until she reveals herself. It's kind of like a whodunit.
Yeah.
Like, is it, Bill? Is it right? Like, you're trying to figure it out, and like Steve Christie is definitely a potential suspect.
Sure.
Until he's revealed to be at the diner across town.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and then he gets killed, and then you're like, oh, he really is.
Definitely on him, yeah.
But the fact that like Annie's dead at that point,
yeah,
and he's in the diner, and he's like, I got 6 counselors.
Sure.
It's like,
I guess it does make him
kind of that one of them is no longer around.
It does make him sound suspicious, but I think he's saying it because that's all that's there when he leaves.
But at
you're
that
right.
point, when he
would have
says
thought
that, I think Jack and Marcy have already been killed. Well, not only Jack and Marcy, but Ned as well. I think at that point,
he dies off screen.
3 of them are already dead by that point. So he would have been like, I got 3 counselors. Yeah. 3 counselors to go.
3 down, 3 left.
But he's so far. I'm just saying, it's just interesting to me that he says 6.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Whatever. Good old crazy Ralph. I mean, is Ralph crazy? So here's my question.
Eccentric.
Who's Ralph? Why is Ralph so preoccupied with that Camp Crystal Lake has a death curse?
Maybe,
do you think he worked there?
That's what I was going to say.
20 years ago.
Maybe he worked there. Maybe which would be so cool to see in the A24, like...
What if Crazy Ralph is Jason's dad?
Okay, I was going to like say that, but then I was like, that's like too crazy. He's not, it's not that. But yeah, I think it's possible that he worked at the camp as like, I don't know, a groundsman or something. Like maybe he was coming on a
side thing.
Or maybe he knew Pamela, like knew the family.
Because he would have probably been, what do you think he is in this? He's in like his 70s?
60s, 70s, maybe?
I think so. He looks pretty old.
He doesn't look that old to me. He looks like he's in his like 50s or 60s.
50s? I mean, I know this is the 80s.
I'm really bad with
I don't
age.
think he looks in his 50s.
I'm really bad with age. Probably like 60s.
Okay, so if he's in his 60s, especially if it's his early 60s, he would be in his 40s when that happened.
Yeah.
Like,
so he could have
early
been...
40s. And Miss Voorhees would have been probably in her 30s.
So it's possible.
So it's definitely possible that they were...
That'd be wild. That'd be so wild.
And then, she goes crazy and his life. Okay, we're getting into total tinfoil hat territory.
I like thinking about things like that, especially with the character like him because he's so like iconic to the franchise.
I just want to know what connection he has. Like, why is he so obsessed with this?
Because the A24 series is a prequel series, right? It's while Jason's at camp.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know where I got that idea from.
Me.
Oh.
I mean,
you were the one that got that idea.
I'm the one who
gave it to me.
Yeah, I gave you my whole plot synopses for what I think the whole first season should be. And it's so good.
I'm just like, that's it.
That has to be real.
So if what you say is true and that's what they go with, it would be really cool to see Crazy Ralph
as a
person.
I would like to see him as the like the Steve Christie, the head counselor.
Sure.
The head dude.
Yeah.
The principal. What do you call that guy? What do you call?
He's like the camp leader.
Yeah.
The camp chieftain. I don't know.
I don't know either what the hell those people would be called. But yeah, whoever's in charge there.
Who do you think he is?
That'd be cool. Ralph. Yeah, Ralph runs the place. And then on his watch, like 3 kids die.
Dude, yeah, that would.
You got 2 murders and a drowning.
So he starts
2 years,
drinking.
And he feels he feels responsible.
Yeah.
Because he hired those people and let them die on his watch. And
yeah.
I like this.
I like it too. I think
this.
We're gonna include it in the.
It's my headcanon.
Yeah,
now.
it's our new headcanon.
He was there.
He was there.
I'm just going with that.
That's why
Crazy Ralph worked
trying to warn
at
people.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
In 1957 or 8 or both.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. I mean, he could just be the crazy town drunk, but he's so connected to it. It's not like he's spewing a bunch of different things. It's like, no, this is the thing. I'm gonna now. How does he get out there? Crazy Ralph don't got no car.
Dude, I always wondered that because it's like he just has his bike and it's 20 miles. It's 20 miles from town. So he bikes 20 miles out there, and then when he leaves, he just leaves really casually.
He is crazy.
He's crazy. I mean, there's people that bike 20 miles. Like those,
he biked 20
cyclists.
miles in the same day, though.
Yeah, so he bikes 40 miles.
He biked 20
Maybe
miles
he's got
out
like
there.
A cabin halfway through, like something that he lives in.
Yeah, because he gets his bike to leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he does. He grabs his bike and he goes off on the dirt road.
Yeah.
And it's Alice, right, that's like looking out at him like.
Yeah. Yeah, he biked out there in a day. Yeah, no. It's far. He's an older man. I don't think he's got that kind of stamina to be able to get out there like that. But I don't know. So anyway, I also find it odd that when Annie shows up to the diner, when they turn around, they're reopening that place again, and they're all kind of like surprised.
They're all very.
But then, when she gets in the truck with the dude, he's like talking about, well, Steve Christie's meddling in things that he shouldn't. Like he has like inside info. They know he's opening it up. So why do they act surprised that they know he's opening it up?
Well, I mean, maybe it's like he bought that
or is it that they're surprised that it's like this is one of the kids, like this, or almost like they're afraid of her because she's got like a curse on her now that she's going there.
Maybe. I think that they could know that he's been up there working on it and like putting money into it.
But don't they outright
thinking
explicitly
like,
say
it's not going to be allowed to open?
They're opening that place up again, like question mark?
They do.
So that makes no sense.
They do, but I'm saying like he could be up there working on it, but they're like, there's no way he's going to be allowed to reopen it. I'm assuming you have to have permits to have like a camp with children coming to it. So it's like, maybe they're thinking like he's just wasting his time up there like renovating, but then it actually is able to open. So they're shocked by that fact, like it's actually happening.
I mean, somebody tried to open it again before this and the water was bad.
Right? Yeah.
Whatever that means.
I don't know.
I guess they tested the water and it was
something
so like
there.
Pamela poisoned the water? Is that what happened? Why is the water bad?
I mean, they also mentioned that there's multiple fires, right? Which has to be Pamela setting those fires, I would think. So I don't know what she did to the water.
So she's like an eco-terrorist.
Yeah.
Trying to prevent them from opening, and then they just won't give it up. So she's like, everyone has to die. She's like,
fine, come out here.
Yeah. Fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I warned you.
Yeah.
That water was bad.
There's fires everywhere.
Yeah.
Crazy Ralph's warning you.
Yeah, my ex-husband.
I was just going to say. My ex-husband.
Jason's father, Crazy Ralph, is warning y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silver Lake is where they filmed this. Pretty small little thing. And in the movie, it's really small.
It's a small lake. Yeah.
It's barely a lake. It's a pond.
It's a lake. It's a small one.
It's a really small lake, which is called a pond. Okay. So, regarding Alice and her romantic endeavors, I never really noticed until this time. Okay, so very evident that Steve Christie's into her.
Yes.
Now, she's drawing pictures of him and he's touching her face, and she's not getting too weird about it. And she specifically is like, I'll stay another week for you.
Yeah.
So they're kind of hinting at a romantic relationship there to some degree.
Yeah.
Which, you know, probably is inappropriate, but, you know, they're adults, whatever. Fuck, I don't care. I noticed this time, I feel like Alice actually has a thing for Bill. This is something I didn't notice until this viewing, but the scene when they're all out in the lake, the one where Ned drowns like an asshole.
Yeah.
When they come up to them, they're like laying next to each other, almost head to head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then pretty much throughout the rest of the movie, they're hanging out. They play strip poker together.
Yep.
And then when he's like going to go check on things, she's like, can I come with you? And then they like hold hands and walk out of there together. And she's like clinging to him the whole time. I feel like Steve Christie wants her, and she's kind of like, I don't know. She does draw a picture of him almost like, because she's like, you did last night, which I always took that when I was younger. Like, she spent the night with him. But I'm not so sure on that. Maybe she did. I mean, she can, it's summer camp. She's young. She could have sex with all the guys there. So it's not like she is incapable of sleeping with Bill or having a Bill and Steve if she wants. So that's possible too. I'm just like, is it Bill?
Yeah.
That she's like, because Bill's more her age and more like, and maybe there was like, oh, maybe I'm more into Bill. I don't know. Do you think Steve and Alice have been romantic, or is it just Steve coming on to her? But she does say, like, I'll stay another week for you. I don't know.
It's weird because I kind of always interpret, like, when he touches her face, like her hair or whatever, I've always felt like her reaction is like kind of disgust.
Really? Okay.
I always kind of, because she kind of like looks at him weird, like she sort of side eyes him, and I don't know. I just always took it as like it's an unwelcome like advance that he's doing.
But why would she agree to stay?
But yeah, like why she would agree to stay for him and all of that. I don't know. I think it's possible she's kind of confused about how she feels towards him, and like he's into her, and so she's like, maybe I want this older guy. But I do think that her and Bill have like more chemistry together, and obviously we see more of them together anyway. So she's kind of like a little bit of a teacher's pet too, right? She's sort of like the goody two shoes when she's around Steve, like she's helping out and everything, and that could just be like her personality. But I think that I think it's more likely that her and Bill would have ended up a couple.
Yeah, I do too.
So
I do too.
Yeah.
And you think Nettie had any chance with Brenda?
I don't know. I don't know.
You think it would have worn on her after a time?
She's like into it. She's kind of into it.
You think so?
A little bit.
She is way too hot for him.
She is, but she likes the attention, and like he's funny.
That's the only pairing
left. He's funny, so.
He's a goof.
He's not funny to me. I don't think he's funny, actually. Like, I find him really annoying.
Sure.
I think he's like, if I was to say anybody's an asshole, I would say him, but he's not an asshole. He just is like obnoxious to me. But she laughs at his stuff, and like, even though what he does, like when he pretends to drown, is like the most uncool thing. And the fact that Pamela is like watching.
Oh yeah,
she's just like she's like, yeah, you're doing this to mock me. Like, 100%. You guys
are you pretending to be my son?
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame her.
Look at what you did to him.
Yeah. So I think he's super lame for doing that.
But so if she was sane, though, she wouldn't be killing people. But if she was sane, she would be able to see this kid's drowning.
Yeah.
And all of them rush to his aid, do everything to try to save him.
Yes.
Whether he's faking it or not, doesn't matter. They immediately are like on the ball. So she should be like, okay, these guys aren't going to do what these other guys do.
Alice even throws in like a life floater. Is that
a life preserver?
Life preserver?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Of course.
She throws it in, and
that's like a funny scene for sure, because she's like, here, grab onto this, and then she's like, ugh, and she like pushes it out of the way because they're like 1 inch away. I think she was like told to do that by the director.
I actually
Because he yells out, like, get the life preserver, right? And then she goes and grabs it. She's like, here, grab all this. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then, like, doesn't even reach for it. And then she, like, goes, ugh.
But, you know, I like it, though, because it's like you're saying, though, like, all of them rush to help.
Sure.
So even though, like, at that point it's
helpful.
not needed, she's still like, what can I do to help?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Pamela seeing it does not, obviously, does not see that they're trying to help. Instead, sees that they're making light of something.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
You think it's funny that people drown?
Right.
Yeah, let's see how funny you think it is.
Yeah.
Like, cut your throat.
Right. And you drown in your blood.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think she sees that and is like, that could be it. I mean, at that point, though, she's already killed Annie.
Which we didn't even really talk about that, but just quickly, because
Annie's just the best.
She's so sweet. And when she gets picked up, like, because I was talking to you about this when we were watching it this time, like, she's literally sitting there telling Pamela how it's her dream to work with kids, and, like, how she loves it and is so excited, and, like, is the most wholesome thing. She's not like, oh, man, I can't wait to get stoned and, like, have sex with all these guys. Like, she's only thinking about the kids, and Pamela still kills her. So I think that Pamela has, obviously when she kills Barry and Claudette, like, from that point forward, she's already just, like, off the deep end. So
what's interesting, though, is that she says that she is not only an old friend of the Christies, but that she works with them.
Yeah.
So in what capacity
I wonder if she's
does she work for the Christies?
I don't know.
Like, what does she do?
It'd be weird if she was like a real estate agent and she like sold them the property.
No, but I feel like she's probably hired on to oversee the camp.
Maybe.
And that's why she's there, and that's why she knows about it. But I would assume she probably keeps her eye on it at all times. But she outright says, like, you know, I work for the Christies.
Yeah. It could be a lie. But I don't think it is. And it would be really cool with this prequel that we've made for A24 to film that we see the Christies, like his parents, at the camp. Like, if they're the owners.
I don't think the Christies own it in 57. I think the Christies buy it after, right, for cheap, because no one wants it. It's like camp blood. Nobody wants anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Right? And so the Christies buy it for cheap and then are trying to, you know, flip it.
Maybe she does, like, help set it up because she wants, like, because Jason in her is, like, telling her to kill people.
The reason I think that she probably does work there is because when Christie's comes back in the night, he's like, oh, hey, what are you doing out in this?
That's true. She recognizes her.
He knows who she is.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that makes sense because, of course, she says, that's why I'm saying she's not lying.
Yeah, you're right.
Because Steve knows her.
He does recognize her.
Right? So now she could be somebody who frequents the diner, right? She doesn't have to work for him to know her, right? She can be somebody else completely to him and have nothing to do with the Christie. So that could be a lie, technically. But the fact that that being said, he does say, what are you doing out in this mess? That's like, but I feel like, I don't know. Maybe she's supposed to come in the next week.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we think about what she was doing beforehand, she was the cook. She was the chef.
Yeah.
Right? Of the camp.
Yeah.
We know Annie is the cook.
Yeah.
So we didn't hire her on to do her original role.
No.
Right? So I don't know what her job would be if she does work there. We are putting a lot of headcanon in this.
I mean, yeah, she could have wanted to volunteer to, like, help out in some other capacity. Because obviously, like, if you have a bunch of kids at camp, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe she's like, my son died because, like, kids were being irresponsible. Like, I want to be there for safety reasons now to, like, make sure, like, when they're not watching them, like, I'm watching them or something. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyway. All right, moving on from that. If she would have, if Steve wouldn't have been coming on to Alice and talking her into saying, she wouldn't have had to go through all of this and ultimately die in part 2.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
She would have been like, bye.
So him being like, I don't know though. With Pam let her go.
Probably not.
She let Crazy Ralph go. Can you open that?
Oh, that's true.
You know, he bikes out of there and she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I do find it hilarious I've always found this to be hilarious. It's super grim, but there's something really funny to me about it as much as I love Annie. Annie is legit one of my favorite characters in the franchise, and that's how impactful her like few scenes are.
Yeah.
Right? But I find it just so funny that in my head canon that Mrs. Voorhees drives around with her in the front seat dead. I find that to be so funny.
I know. It's so weird because it's like she kills her outside, like on like a tree, and she puts her into the Jeep.
She picks her up and puts her in.
Like, why?
I will call some
Why
bullshit
did she
though.
do that?
There's Pam is definitely hitting the roids hard.
Yes.
Because she does a couple things that I'm telling you outright she could not do. Not with her frame. You would have to have like a WWF wrestler to be able to do some of the things she does in this movie. So number one, she hangs Bill on the door with arrows.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's true.
There's no way she could do that. So she would have to pick him up, prop him against the door off the ground, and then stick arrows through him strong enough that would keep him on the door.
Yeah.
Now, don't worry about like would the arrows break from the weight and this and that. That's Michael Myers Halloween Bob logic, right? Yeah. Like the knife, which is like only this long and this much is sticking out of him, and somehow he's still sticking in the door. That stuff is whatever to me. But how he got up on the door and was then stuck through. Also,
she's been trained.
She throws Brenda through the window. Do you have any idea how much strength you would have to
she does.
To pick up a person and throw them through a window?
She also strings up like who's like hanging from a tree?
She gets Ned. Oh yeah, Christy. She gets Steve Christy up in a tree, and he falls.
And he like
at
falls
the
down
moment.
like Linda,
like Bob,
or like Bob. Sorry, yeah,
Bob in
like
the closet.
Bob in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
So funny.
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. She's just been training. She's been like lifting weights these last,
That's why she wears
years.
that. That's why she wears that sweater,
so she can hide her muscles.
So like she's under there, like ripped.
Like, oh.
That'd actually be pretty funny.
She's just a good mom.
Yeah. But yeah, there's no way.
No.
There's no way. There's so many things in this that I'm like, and she got Nettie in the bunk bed too.
Yeah.
She would have had to get him up in there.
Yeah, I mean, like lift him above, because dead bodies. It's just dead weight.
Ned's a full-grown man.
Yeah.
She picked him up and put him in a bunk bed. His dead body. No way.
I mean, he is kind of scrawny looking, though. Not gonna lie.
You couldn't pick up Ned.
No, I couldn't.
I guarantee.
I couldn't, but she's taller than me.
She's like in
and
her
she has a
50s.
bigger build. Yeah.
There's
but
no way.
She's crazy. She's got the crazy adrenaline in her.
I get that,
That's
but
what
she's
it is.
still not physically picking. I mean, I know
that's like
a woman can lift the back end of a car.
But that's the canon. Like that would be the only way to explain how she's able to do that. Is just that like she's so psychotic that it's like mind over matter. So she thinks that she's her, but it's weird because like when she thinks that she's Jason, or when Jason's talking to her, he's a little boy. He's not like a full-grown man. Because I would also be like, oh, maybe it's like she's in her mind, she's like, I'm Jason, so like I can pick up and do whatever. But like she seems to be like young Jason, right?
Why does Annie jump out of the car head first?
I don't know. She's like, it's so bad. The fact that she runs into the woods too, I'm just like, no.
Oh yeah.
You'd run on the road like back to that sign, because that's where the people are. So at least you could. Although I don't know how much further up that road.
She's trying to lose her.
But she's wearing like a bright clothes.
If she stays on the road, she can just turn the Jeep around and come right back at her in the car.
Yeah.
If you run into the woods, you at least have the chance of like losing her in the roughage, the foliage, and whatever. But she jumped out of a car head first. Yeah. I'm assuming she's banged around, and when people are in stressful situations like that, they do dumb stuff. But I agree with you. I mean, to a degree, you got to start making your way back towards
the camp.
Towards the road.
Towards people.
It depends, because I don't feel like they're driving very long, and it's 10 miles. So you're going to hit the road much quicker going back the way you came.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, pardon the interruption. Okay. The question I was going to ask was, it's kind of implied. I don't really know what to make of this. I never really put much thought into this until this watch, and I still haven't really put my thoughts together much. But Marcy is like having a premonition her whole life
Yeah.
that she's gonna die during a rainstorm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And she does.
I know.
So that's kind of weird. I never
weird.
really put much thought into this, but like she has this reoccurring dream where the rain's coming down and it turns to blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it starts raining and she dies. So what are we saying here? Is Marcy
psychic?
Yes.
Does she have some of that?
She had a premonition of her own death.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that.
I mean, is this like the first indicator of something like Friday the 13th, 7?
Right.
Right? Where we're getting kind of psychic abilities and telekinetic and, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not totally outside of the franchise's like lore, obviously,
I guess
to have
not.
a psychic character. So
because this part's 7, right? You've got Tina. Tina, that's her name, isn't it?
Yeah.
She, obviously has telekinesis.
Yes.
And it does kind of seem out of nowhere for the franchise, except for the zombie. But you got Jason versus Carrie, so basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is Marcy
psychic?
Yeah, the first one with supernatural abilities in this franchise.
I'm gonna say sure. Why not?
It just seems so random.
It is
to be in here.
It is random, but I think
people have these kinds of fear and things, whatever.
Well, and also it kind of adds to it makes it creepier to be like, oh, she was destined to come here and die.
Yeah.
So I like that it's in there, and I mean, the franchise goes super, super, supernatural in later installments. So I'm fine
especially
with
in
it.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh my god, dude, that
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's where it gets crazy. But I never really thought much about that line about her dream. But now that we're trying to break it down and talk about every single little thing, hashtag Crazy Frank's
Crazy Ralph.
Crazy Ralph.
Who's Crazy Frank?
I'm like, wait a minute. Why did I just say Frank? I was really trying to piece that together in my head. I'm like, wait, Frank?
Who's Frank?
The hell?
Frank's
I don't know why
I said
Frank.
Cut.
I was like, wait. My brain short circuited there, and I couldn't figure out why I said it. That's funny.
That's cute.
Yeah, Crazy Ralph. Wrong character. But yeah, that's so. Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting.
I don't know.
I think it's definitely really creepy.
One thing I'm positive on though is that Bill has no idea how to play a guitar, and
when he's playing some sounds like Jim Croce or something. It's really pretty sounding guitar, and his hands are barely moving on it.
No,
it's
he is not.
That's not what he's playing. No. And they're like, that's nice.
Yeah. I wonder what
he's probably
they added that.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to hear the uncut version
where he's playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Where they put on it's just boom boom, and the girls have to come over and be like, oh, that's nice. I mean, talk about acting.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know what he was really playing there. But hey, maybe he was playing something, and they couldn't get the licensing rights for it.
Oh,
so they had to dub in, other music.
It's possible.
I mean, they could have put in music that it looked like he was playing.
Yes. But, I mean, they're probably no one's going to notice. No one will tell.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We don't get to see Ned's death, but that's specifically for the reveal of his body. Reveal. So I don't mind that we don't get to see it. I like that that's that confirmation, right? Because he goes missing.
Yeah.
And you're like, wonder what happened to him. Yeah. And there's this ominous shot of him dead.
Yes.
With this death lingering.
Yes.
And just to think that you're having sex with your boyfriend, you're having this great time.
And there's a dead guy right above you.
And there's a dead guy right on top of you guys the whole time that you don't know is there.
Yeah. It's gross.
Yeah.
And really creepy and unsettling.
Yeah.
And also his death is it's just his throat's just slit, so if he was mangled and we didn't get to see it, I think I'd be more upset about that.
Right, we already got
but
to
it's
see
a basic slit. It's a basic Yeah,
I like
kill.
Annie's throat slit though. It looks
I
really
do too.
good.
It looks really, really good.
Yeah. Her neck color isn't the same as her skin color.
It's not, but
so they could have blended that better color wise, but everything else
good,
otherwise looks good.
Yeah.
And the arrow kill on Bacon is great.
It's wonderful.
We all know the story about the line clogging up and he blows through it and the blood squirts and all that stuff. So we watched the uncut version that is literally 10 seconds different. Yeah. 10 seconds added. And there's, for some reason, an entirely different disc for that.
I don't know why.
What, you really couldn't have put them all both on the same disc where you just add in the 10 extra seconds into the film? Maybe that's hard. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it would be that complicated. I guess it does just have to be totally two different films.
Yeah.
But all it is that death sequences go on, like they focus in on somebody and they're like blood squirts for like an extra second.
Yeah.
Right? Or we get an extra butt pinch on Kevin Bacon. Those are like the uncut versions. Like, they really had to cut that out?
I don't know why.
Like, the MPAA is like,
cut out 10 seconds.
Cut out these 10 seconds and you're good. What?
It's so ridiculous.
Like, the blood is only allowed to squirt for 2 seconds, not 4.
Dude,
like,
what?
Who cares? What's such an arbitrary thing?
Yes.
Like, what?
I have no reasoning.
It's so authoritarian.
Yes, it is.
That's what pisses me off.
It's just like, you're going to follow our rules or you're not going to get to release your movie.
100%.
That's all that is.
They're trying to play like gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're going to tell you what you can see, adult audience. We select few that you didn't agree on. We have decided what's best for you, and 2 seconds of blood squirting,
it's too much.
Is too much.
You can't handle it.
It's like, get out of here. Get out of here with that, man. Like, I'm fine. Like, why can't we just have, like, the ratings I'm fine with. I don't mind that there's a rating. It actually helps me as a father.
Sure.
On, like, what I can show my kids, mostly because their mom would kill me if I showed them anything crazy. But it's like, okay, cool. It's PG-13. I'm probably okay. PG, I'm definitely okay.
Yeah.
R, I'm most likely not okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, there are few exceptions. Like, I would definitely show my kids The Matrix. I still have no idea what the hell that movies are. I can't figure it out. But regardless, like, just have it. And I know NC-17 exists, but then theaters won't release it.
I know. I think, like, the rating system, like, you should just be able to, like, have the ratings for your films with, like, what the warnings are for what's in them. So that people can look at it and be like, I'm not okay with extreme violence. I'm not okay with depictions of rape or suicide or whatever, right?
Sure.
You can have those warnings and then people don't have to watch them.
They can make their minds up for themselves.
Because I do think it is important to warn people about what might be in a movie. Because, like, if you're going into something totally blind and you know that you have, I mean, like, it's hard, right? Because it's like, if you know you have, like, an aversion to something and, like, you're not okay when you see it, it makes it so you almost can't go into things blind. But if you do have a warning, like, in a heads up that this film has this in it, then, like you said, you can make up your mind as like, well, am I going to try and watch it, or am I just not going to watch it because I know I can't handle it?
Sure. I think that, like, and it can be anything, honestly, but if someone's going to have a problem with that, I would just say to them, like, what if like your wife or your daughter or whoever the hell had been raped, and then, like, later in life, they go into a movie, and they see something that completely makes them a freak out, and they're just like, I don't want to watch a movie with rape, it's too close to what it went through, and blah blah blah. And so if there is something that's like depicts rape, that would be good. So I don't have any problem with that, but I have a problem
with the censorship.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can tell people what's in it, just don't tell people what they can and can't watch.
Like, for example, this film should have a warning for actual animal violence.
Sure.
Because it's, like, one of the most disgusting things, and it does bring down, like, for me, a little bit how I think about the film. Not a little bit, like, a good amount, because I think it's awful. It's like, I don't watch the scene.
Features animal cruelty.
Yes.
It features actual animal
and
death.
It's kind of wild to me that it's like they could have that in a film and it's still, I mean, like, I'm glad ultimately that Friday the 13th exists, but it's like, what? Like, you're going to show an actual snake getting hurt, getting killed,
getting his freaking head
getting
chopped
freaking
off.
killed, and you're like, okay, putting that on the screen, but a couple seconds of blood extra,
you're
going to censor? Like, you're not going to censor the actual animal death?
Yeah, a couple seconds of corn syrup.
That's crazy.
You can't see that.
That's crazy.
But an actual death.
But a lot of people, I mean, there's tons of people, obviously, who don't want to watch even fake animal violence can be very upsetting for me, but like, especially if it's real, like, there's lots of people who are like, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of people that like don't care about that. Like, they are like,
they're psychopaths.
It's an animal. Like, what do I care that they're
psychopaths.
Getting hurt? Yeah.
No, like, it's completely senseless, right?
Like, you could
to just chop a freaking head off of a snake for like a movie, like, it's not for any reason.
No, you can easily put a fake snake in there, and nobody would know. You could have a shot of a live snake, and then just throw in a fake one.
I mean, like, to be fair, 99.9% of the time, that is what they do.
Yeah,
they rarely kill actual animals in movies.
I don't understand why, in this case, they decided to actually kill a snake.
Yeah,
it's so baffling to me, and it is really upsetting. And,
this isn't Cannibal Holocaust. This is Friday the 13th. This definitely. I mean, I don't think, obviously, I don't think Cannibal Holocaust should have a turtle death either.
No, right? Not at all.
That scene I actually fast forwarded.
It's disgusting.
Because I'm just like, I'm not fucking watching this.
No.
Why the hell would I want to watch this?
No.
It's horrifying.
Awful.
Yeah. So
awful.
No, it's a lame part of the film for sure. Okay, and we've got and going back to that scene where Nettie is drowning, and she sees Ned is like being assisted and helped, and all these kids come to his rescue and everything. Then once again, she feigns this need for help, fakes a kid's voice, is yelling, "Help me, help me," and Brenda runs out in a storm to try to assist whoever it is. She doesn't know who it is.
Yeah, she just hears anything. Like a little kid voice.
She hears somebody who needs help.
Yeah,
probably a kid, and she immediately runs out, drops everything. Doesn't
into
go
the
like she
storm.
Doesn't. Yeah, she runs into a storm. She's frantically trying to help this person.
Yeah,
and gets killed for her efforts.
Yeah,
freaking Mrs. Voorhees is a total hypocrite, psychopath.
I mean, do you think she's doing that to lure her out there?
Yes.
Or do you think she's having like a psychotic break where she's like out there and she's like, "Help me, help me"?
That's a good question.
Because I kind of could see both. I feel like she would be more like having a psychotic. I mean, she's having like a psychotic break the whole time.
That's a great question. I don't know. That's not something I even pondered for a second, but that's a really, really good point.
Yeah.
It is very possible that she's just having a psychotic episode out there.
Yeah.
That to me is, I actually prefer that. I actually think that's scarier.
Yeah. I do too.
Luring is always what I thought, but now thinking that Mrs. Voorhees is just standing out in the rain.
Yeah.
And being like, "Help me, mommy, help!"
Yeah.
And she's just having a freak out.
Yeah.
And then when Brenda comes and like interrupts that, she kills her.
Right.
That's a great, great thought.
Yeah. I think it's scary too. Because I think that she's like obviously deeply disturbed, and like we've been saying this whole time, like she's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, she's really broken, and it's been years that she's been in this like state too. So I think being out there, like being at that camp with all these counselors, like she's just in the midst of a full-blown like psychotic break.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. I think either works.
Mm-hmm.
So fill in your own headcanon. But if she did lure her out there to help, but even if not, she's either way, she still came out there to help the voice.
Of course, yeah.
And Pam should be like, "Oh, maybe she's not a garbage person. Maybe I shouldn't kill her." But of course, she's already into deep psychosis.
Yeah,
she doesn't
definitely
care.
Not rational.
Brenda's a total sweetheart.
Yes.
She has no reason to be killed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's she's nuts. That's all I can say.
Nuts.
And it is interesting to me that Alice is able to identify who she thinks is screaming in the middle of a storm. She's like, I think it was Brenda. Did she not just meet everybody?
Yeah.
Like, how could she possibly figure out who was screaming? A girl screaming at the top of her lungs sounds like a girl screaming at the top of her lungs.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a very distinct voice or something, or if you've heard someone scream a bunch, it's like, oh, I think I know who that is. But like for her to be like, I think it was Brenda. What? Also, based on what?
Also, and this happens a lot in these kinds of films too, but like they were literally like drinking and smoking weed too, like not that long before. And I know that like when you're scared and there's like your adrenaline does kind of sober you up a little bit. Yeah. But I think that she probably still has obviously those chemicals in her body affecting like her judgment to or her senses to a degree.
I just found it funny that she said.
It is funny.
I think it was Brenda. Like, what? Because Brenda and Marcy would have such different screams. Yeah. Like, what? You could not tell the difference. It could be.
But she thinks, I don't know.
Anyway. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I got nothing on that one. Man, Bill really got screwed by that storm. He almost had both of them naked. He was this close.
But he's like, he accepts it.
Really, he accepts it way easier than I would have been. I'd have been like, oh, no. You can go shut up your room.
You'd have been like, no, you forfeit. Yeah. Gotta get naked now.
Right? I'd be like, okay, if you're going to leave, though, these are the rules. New rules. You got to show me the goods before you go.
I hate Monopoly so much. And like when I was watching this too, like anytime I watch people play Monopoly and they act like they're having fun, I just think it's the biggest lie ever.
I don't dislike Monopoly.
I know. It's like it just goes so against like how I feel that like watching other people enjoying it, I'm just like, no. There's
we need to play Monopoly on the channel for Kaylee.
No.
Just make her miserable the whole time.
I hate it. I think it's so dumb.
It's not dumb.
It's
you just have like post-traumatic stress with it as a kid or something. Okay, let's see. Yeah. What did I say there? For them? How them? For them, yeah. Yeah, I already said all that stuff. Yeah, I can't really figure out how Brenda died. She's just kind of roped up. She has like a gash or something like on her. She's not really bleeding though much. Like I don't really understand Brenda's death. Broken neck?
Maybe broken neck.
Yeah. She kind of looks alive. I mean, obviously the actress is alive.
She is alive, but she's not.
But I don't know. I mean, probably because she's, it's an actual living body.
Right, that's why it looks
alive to me. Yeah. She just looked like she was moving a little bit.
Just a little.
So I'm not convinced Brenda's dead. Although the cop does say they're all dead.
He does. He confirms it.
Yeah.
But
But maybe, Brenda got up and started walking around and they hadn't found her
yet. She's gonna show up in some later late sequel.
So she throws Brenda through the window after snacking on 20 grams of roids. I don't know the unit of measurement of steroids.
Grams? I don't know.
Is that a lot? That sounds like a lot.
That sounds like a ton. Like 50 pounds of roids.
Units? Ounces?
Milligrams?
What would steroids come in what measurement?
Like, are they
shoot them up, right?
Capsules?
Shoot them into your like or into your butt.
So it'd be like
that's what I've seen portrayed in the films.
I don't know then. I don't know what the unit for measurement for a syringe is.
It ain't 20 grams.
No.
I just throw it out some random number. But after she throws her through the window, she drives up in her car.
Yeah.
Like 20 seconds later.
Yeah.
So she like threw her and then ran over, drove, and then drove up.
100%.
Because like she wanted to lure her out by driving up.
Yes.
Everyone else she just kills. And then when she's
That
got
one,
Annie
yeah,
down to the last person,
yeah, when
she's like, all
down
right,
to
now I'm going to have
Alice,
a conversation.
yeah.
Now, okay,
Yeah.
we didn't see her kill Brenda, and we
No.
didn't see her kill Ned.
Right.
Is it possible she also told them the story?
Sure. I actually like that. I think that would be really cool that she was like telling them why they're dying before. I like that.
She doesn't
I think
tell,
that would be really cool.
Oh, I don't think we don't see Bill die either. We just see him hung up on the door.
Oh, you're right. So she just tells everybody except for. Well, actually, she could tell everybody.
She could. I mean,
she could tell.
Well,
except Annie.
No, we definitely see that Jack is killed.
Yeah, I mean,
and
he
Marcy
dies.
is killed, like outright. There's nobody talking to him.
No.
She takes an axe to the face. He takes an arrow to the throat.
It would be really cool though, the people that are off camera deaths, that she's talking to them before she kills them. That would be really cool. That she's going on her spiel,
especially with Brenda,
because she's just like ranting.
Maybe she's in her crazy state that moment,
right? Where she's like, "I'm Jason."
I mean, she could even, even be talking to her as Jason.
Yeah, like, why'd you
kill me?
Yeah. Why didn't you save me?
Why were you having sex?
Why did you have unmarital sex? Unmarital?
Yeah. Unmarital?
What?
Crazy Fred and what did I call him? Frank.
We have two new characters for this franchise. What is premarital, not
sex.
unmarital?
Unmarital.
Unmarital is when you have it outside of your marriage.
What?
That's
no.
No, it's not a word, but I'm making it
one.
Oh,
I see.
Unmarital now means.
Unmarital.
Yeah, that's what you do all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Right. With those girls, from camp.
No. My least favorite part of the film, outside of the snake death, for sure, easily hands down, is Alice for like 15 straight minutes going around and securing her location by like putting a rope and then stuff in front of the door and all that. Oh my god. Like, I know it's supposed to add tension, but it is way too long. It's padding the runtime of the movie.
But on one hand, I mean, yeah, I agree. I think it is kind of like unnecessarily long, but I guess you could look at it like she's really trying to be proactive about keeping herself safe, which is an admirable trait for a final girl to have.
I get all of that. The way this would have worked is if she sets certain things up that come into play later, right? For me to sit there and watch her freaking Kevin McAllister,
she needs to Home Alone it more.
Yes.
Like,
so
more
she
traps.
needs to put something together, very, Nancy, where she sets up the kill room for Freddy.
Like Jigsaw says, traps, they make movies better.
Yeah. I just think that like her tying the doorknob and putting everything in front of here and going over here and doing all this stuff, and then as soon as Pam shows up, she just goes and runs and takes it all out of there.
Yeah.
And it's all for nothing. It's like, this scene was for literally no reason.
Yeah. I agree. I'm not going to really defend it that hard.
I would have liked, though, is if she secured the whole place.
Yeah.
And then the killer tries to come in through the broken window, and then she's like trying to get out through her own crap. And it's like, it's her, like, I would have liked, it wouldn't have been like, not have it be Annie, have it be Brenda, or have it be Bill or something who does it, right? And then the killer comes through the window, and then he's trying to get through his own crap, and that's what causes his own death, is his prison that he created for himself. See, stuff like that, that'd be cool.
Sure.
But just watching her do that for there literally to be no reason is like, this is such a pointless part of the movie. I usually honestly fast forward through it because I find it to be so lame.
We watched it in its entirety this time.
We did. We get confirmation that June 13th is Jason's birthday. Doesn't always fall on a Friday, but this one just so happened to. June 13th is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. And let's see. I really love the shot of the boat on the water.
I do too.
Beautiful shot. I think we both agree that Annie dreams Jason.
Alice.
What did I say?
Annie.
Oh, Annie, sorry.
Yeah.
Alice dreams. At least I didn't say Fred or Frank.
I know. You're like Alicia or her.
Another,
I don't know. I'm
yeah.
trying to think of another A name for women.
Yeah, but
Amanda.
that doesn't even work because I said Frank and Fred for freaking Ralph.
I know you're
Not
right.
even
You're
R.
right.
It's not even R. And F looks like an R though. If you
It does.
just
It
loop
does.
it and give it a little.
Yeah, I think that it's a dream at the end. I think it's pretty obvious that it's a dream, and I think that even like Shauna's Cunningham, like
Cunningham. Cunningham. Oh my God! I said breasts. You said coming. Jeez, we're
I
horny.
guess. Anyway, he's confirmed that it was meant to be a dream.
Oh.
Like that it's supposed to be like this setup for like just this a scare, really. Like there's an idyllic like ending and then it's shattered. So.
Right, because people have a problem with in the next movie Jason's fully grown. And I'm like, the next movie, it's 5 years later.
Yeah.
A. And B, he's what? We're at 1980. He drowned in 57. This is 23 years later. Then up 5 years, that's 28.
Plus he's
and
like
if he was
10,
going to camp, he had to be at least
10.
At least 8 to 10.
So he's like in his mid to late 30s, probably.
Yes. Yeah, so
late 30s.
People shouldn't have any issue with Jason being an adult.
I've always, I think that it's definitely a dream sequence. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that causes any issue.
There is an interesting line here. I think it's fairly easy to answer, but I'm just curious, only because Jason pulls her into the water. So the cop does say, "We pulled you out of the lake.
Yeah.
We thought you were dead too." She goes out. So she goes out in a boat.
Yeah.
Right? Why she does this, I don't know. So people can't like come up. She's just like protecting herself from all around.
Yeah, but it's like someone can still swim out there. But obviously she's already beheaded.
You're at more of an advantage.
You are.
In the water.
She's already
has to be swimming
beheaded
up
Pamela, so.
So she goes out in the boat. So she's in the boat. We know that, right? Now, when the cops are arriving and she's looking out at them, is that her? She's just dreaming that, right? Period.
I think
that whole thing is a dream. Or she hallucinates.
So
is it a dream or she hallucinates?
I think of it as like she's in shock, right? Like she's messed up. She's asleep and like going in and out of consciousness, and like she kind of like wakes up, sees them, and then like the boat tips over. Okay. And in her head, in the like hallucination dream state that she's in, it's Jason coming up and getting her.
Sure. So I get, okay, so maybe it doesn't even have to be a dream. Maybe she just like, she was so out of it, she kind of like rocked back and then like hallucinated Jason pulling her.
It's like a daydream / hallucination.
Sure. So my question was, did they pull her out of the lake or do they pull her out of the boat in the lake?
What did they say? They pulled her out of the lake.
We said we pulled you out of the lake, but that could mean she was in a boat in the lake and we pulled you out of the lake, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the boat. She's in the boat for sure.
You think?
Yeah.
Because she goes into the lake.
I think she's in the boat.
I thought we just confirmed though that she probably fell in the water in her hallucination. So wouldn't they pull her out of the lake?
Yeah.
Like,
no. I'm sorry. She definitely went into the lake on the boat, but then she fell into the water out of the boat. So they pull her out of the water.
I'll throw this argument in there. I know that this is just movie bullshit, right? Because people can get out of the shower and they're wearing a full face of makeup and their hair is done, right? But in the hospital, her hair is still done.
Yeah,
she has not fallen into the water.
Yeah.
Because her hair would look nothing like that.
Yeah.
Had she fallen into the water. So that is an argument. I know that they just did her hair because she wants to look good on camera.
It's an
argument.
It's a weak argument because earlier in the film, she gets out of like the shower or whatever, out of like, her hair's wet at another point and she's like drying it off and it's like perfectly styled.
But she styled it.
No, she didn't.
She did though, because it's later, we cut away from her and then when we come back to her hairstyle, so she just styled it. All I'm saying is that I don't know. I don't know what to take from that. I don't know if they pulled her out of the boat or the water, because the reason that matters is because like, did they have to resuscitate her?
Right.
Right? Like if she was in the water, especially if she was face down, and she was that far out, they would have had to go out there, get her, bring her back, thought she was dead, resuscitated her. That's why they thought she was dead.
Yeah.
Or she's like asleep in a boat and they're like, oh, another dead body. And then they move her and she's like, oh, she moves. And they're like, oh, this one's still alive. So is she in the boat or is she in the water? I honestly, this is another one. This is like 3 other questions we have. I genuinely think there's a good argument for either.
Yeah, I like thinking she fell in the water. They took her out of the water and had to resuscitate her.
Yeah,
I think
and then
she
styled her hair.
And then styled her hair for her. No, that's the movie.
Put her
magic.
makeup back on her.
They're like, quick.
She's wearing makeup too.
Yeah, she is. She's wearing like lipstick and like mascara.
They're like, quick, before she wakes up.
Yeah.
Painting on her makeup. That's how you do makeup.
I know.
The back of the head and
why was that you? Like, that's like you putting in like foils or
that's
something?
That's like a man's version of putting on makeup. I'm just going to draw on her.
What?
Okay, lipstick. How about that?
How about I draw on the lipstick?
How do
I mean, I guess you do line your lips if you use lip liner, so that's like kind of drawing on
I was putting on her eyeliner.
What?
I was putting on her eyeliner. Yeah, you take the little pen and the little eyeliner pencil.
You know what? An eyeliner
right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
You're a makeup genius.
Little foundation. No,
yeah.
like that's the like brush, right?
I don't use them.
Just but yeah, I don't know. He says, you know, we pulled you out of the lake, we thought you were dead. I don't know what to make of that interpretation. I don't think that the makeup and hair is a bad argument. You're like, oh, it's a bad, weak argument.
I do just disagree. Because it's a movie.
I know. I'm just saying that's credit towards that.
It's just that there's some movies that do try to stick with that kind of continuity where they're like, all right, she wouldn't have makeup if she's white. But even though, like, when people don't have makeup in movies, like, they still have makeup, you know. But,
I know.
But I just think that this is the kind of film that they're not, like, it's not super important that they keep it realistic in that sense.
If she had a dream, she fell asleep in the boat, they found the boat, she was still in it, they pulled her out of the lake.
Yeah.
Right, out of the boat, out of the lake.
Out of the water.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he says pulled her out of the lake. I think is the exact words. So lake makes it even more like,
Yeah.
Either way, water or lake, doesn't matter. To me, that can be boat or her actual physical body's in the water. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think on that one. Because I just wonder, like, if she fell in the water and drowned, that would definitely, I mean, that would link her to Jason in a way, too, right? Because she drowned in the lake. But, like, the fact that she sees Jason in her head as she, let's say she went out there, fell in the water and drowned.
Yeah.
And then while she was drowned, she sees this vision of Jason pulling her in the water. Right? And then when they resuscitate her, she, like, connected with Jason. Maybe that vision brought him back from the dead.
Maybe.
Okay, now we're getting all crazy.
Somebody drowning in the lake for real.
Revive, like
jolts him.
Break the curse or creates the curse or.
I don't know.
No, I'm of the mind that Jason never drowned, and he was just like scavenging out in the woods himself for years.
I like that idea too, which I know we'll get into when we watch the next one. But yeah.
So that's that, guys. Yeah. Friday the 13th Revisited, a much longer video than my first, and I talked about
funny because like there's still stuff we could have talked about, like Alice and Pamela's like fighting. Like we didn't really talk about that scene that much. You got something
else to talk about?
No,
really
I mean like it's just it's a fun film to talk about because there's a lot I think that you can go into. So yeah.
What about the fighting?
I like how I like the fight sequence. Like I like how long it goes on and how much of a fight like Alice really does put against Pamela.
Yeah, Alice is a a legit final girl.
And yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She is.
She fights back. She's not like, Laurie Strode. She fights back to a degree, right? But she's very whiny and cries a ton.
Yeah.
And, falls and all this stuff. I don't know. I think Annie kicks a little more ass.
Alice?
But Annie, why don't you call her Annie?
It's because we like Annie better. Annie would have been really fun to see as like the final girl of this. She's too sweet though. I don't think she could do it. It would be crazy to see her like turned hard.
Yeah, I like Alice.
I like Alice.
I like Alice.
Alice is fine. But yeah, I think she is more like she fights more for sure, I think, than Laurie Strode does. Like Laurie's definitely.
Yes and no. I mean, it's fashions a thing, stabs him, takes his knife, stabs it into him.
Yeah.
She thwarts his advances.
She does.
Quite
I mean, they're both. I mean, Laurie's my favorite. My of the two, I prefer Laurie because I like Halloween. Is like my favorite. of them. But I think Alice does a really great job. And I think Pamela in that scene mostly too she's just terrifying. Like everything about her interaction, like when she's talking to her and telling her the story, like she's just really scary.
Yeah.
And it's great.
So, what do you guys think about everything we talked about? Who's Frank? Who's Fred?
Who's Frank? Who's Fred? Who's Alicia and Amanda? Those are other ones that showed up.
And what was it?
Unmarital.
Unmarital. We got all
Scott
sorts.
Cunningham and
Scott Cunningham. Breast. Yeah, we were all over the place with this one. That was fun.
It was fun.
So there you go.
Yep.
So next week.
Next week.
Part 2.
Part 2.
We'll be back. And we should probably do this with most of these franchises. I think this will be fun to do.
I'm
so we can actually get into it. Because when I did those, I was so new to this. I wouldn't have had conversations like this. I have you to bounce things off of, which is great. Oh my God. Whoever doesn't like Kaylee being here, I like it way more than you don't like it. Trust me. Having someone to talk to is wonderful. Especially when I'm throwing out the most ridiculous fan theories like Ralph being Jason's dad and stuff. Like,
I love
this is
and
fun.
in
that old one, I just did a couple little things. And in this one, it was way more tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
Breaking down every single stupid little thing, like Steve Christie leaving freaking 50-cent tip.
No,
Sandy's
we didn't even talk about that. Sandy's glasses. Bro, I want those glasses so bad.
No, doesn't she say 2 1/4?
It's 2 1/4.
So he gives a 75-cent tip on 2 1/4.
$75.
That's like a 30-something% tip. That's actually a good tip.
Tip's good.
Yeah,
tip's good.
It's just funny to think like 75 cents back then
was a ton.
She was
like a decent.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, 30-something%.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So that's that.
That's that.
Yeah. Sandy is Jason's aunt. Confirmed.
Everyone in
town.
town.
I always wanted to have Pamela be one of the patrons in that diner.
Oh yeah.
Like sitting in the back,
watching
that would be
Christy. So good. That'd
right?
be so creepy.
That would have been. I would have liked to have seen her at least in the opening when Annie comes in. She's like sitting up there with them.
She like side eyes. She's like
something.
Dude, that would be really cool. Yeah.
Stalking her a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you wouldn't think anything of it still, right? Because at this point, it's like female killers.
Yeah. So, anyways, all right, guys, that's that. Slasher Sunday comes to an end. All right.
Bye.